your hometown, this area, your family, your children. Well, I've got a few mothers who will tell you differently tonight, as well as the U.S. Attorney General, Kerry B. Harvey, was in McGoffin County today at the Health Department. And I have complete coverage of that event in just a few moments. I've got partial coverage as I'm just in from the McGoffin County Fiscal Court session from this afternoon, but we will begin coverage there this evening. A scam to pass along on behalf of the West Liberty Police Department, who wants to warn folks in that area about some calls that are not legitimate that are going out to many residents. Your weather forecast still looking warmer, not as bright and sunshiny for the entire weekend as I'd hoped, but still, it's an improvement. No doubt about it, it's an improvement. The ladies, the McGoffin County Lady Hornets, I believe it's the ladies, hosting East Ridge tonight, a makeup game. Yes, it's the ladies. Just got word earlier this afternoon that is going to be a varsity-only game. Tip-off was bumped up to 6:45. May or may not be some highlights on tomorrow night's program. We've got 2 or 3 places to be at once this evening. We'll see how it goes, but just to let you know, you've got time to rush out and catch a little high school basketball action, and you won't find hardly any more in the regular season because it's quickly winding down, and we'll be in district tournament action Monday of next week. And that, of course, will be something we'll be focusing on all week long, taking in hopefully each and every one of the games, then on to the region from there. Let's go ahead and pick up right now before we go any further with that word of warning from the West Liberty Police Department. It's about a phone scam that they say they have been alerted to. Many residents in the area calling to say that they've been receiving calls that they thought did not sound legitimate, those requesting donations on behalf of the West Liberty PD. A phone scam, the number on the caller ID most often showing unavailable or no information. The voice on the other end of the line when West Liberty or Morgan County residents did answer was that of a male, that of someone who appeared to have a foreign accent and not be from the area. But it was some individual who said that they were taking up donations for Easter baskets for the needy and or children in the area on behalf of the West Liberty Police Department. They've had several such notices of such calls. The unknown male is said to be foreign sounding, the number once again showing unavailable, and they wanted to make very clear that they're not seeking any donations of any kind. They are, however, seeking further information in hopes that the next time someone does receive a call, you will call the West Liberty Police Department and relay the information to them as to how the call how it took place, anything that transpired, and of course any numbers or other information you can give them. We'll pause just for a brief moment or two. Let these folks know you're watching when you can. When we come back, we'll talk about heroin and how it's claimed the lives of, specifically in this case, 2 young people from Kentucky, 2 of many others, however. We'll be right back. For high-speed internet starting at 15 meg for all of your gaming, movie, home, and business solutions, or to watch TV, including your favorite local channels without a contract with hundreds of channels and digital and HD quality, and to stay connected 24/7 with friends and family, a direct line to 911, or to give your business the link it needs, choose telephone service you know is always there. Just click on their link on this site to find out how affordable the latest technology in communications can be. Foothills Communications. Our local McGoffin County Board for Kentucky ASAP, our local Safe Coalition, the McGoffin County Health Department as well, each hosting several individuals today and entities, specifically Kerry B. Harvey, the U.S. Attorney General, as well as a couple of mothers who know tragically and sadly all too well the effects of heroin. They're the mothers of 2 of what are many other young people who have lost their lives to heroin, a drug that is sadly becoming more predominant in eastern Kentucky. Beginning with U.S. Attorney General Kerry B. Harvey, who spoke of the war against opiates and how it's a fight that we can't afford to lose, and how we're losing more people to overdose deaths related to opiates than we are from all traffic accidents and all homicides. Specifically today, heroin, an opiate just like oxycodone, same essentials between both drugs, same action on the brain, same addiction, same enslaving properties. Harvey spoke of the dangers and the presence of heroin and how the war against it will only be won on the local level.
We have to have very strong prevention and education efforts, and we have to have very strong treatment alternatives. And this is not a fight that will be won from Washington or Frankfort or Lexington. It's a struggle that will be won county by county, community by community, and by folks like you all, because we really are fighting for one life at a time. Every time we can keep one young person away from this poison, we've won a very important victory. Every time we don't manage to do that, we have suffered a very serious and a very tragic defeat.
And no one knows that any better than two members of a parent awareness group, two mothers, both of which lost their children to heroin and or drug overdoses. Lynn Holsing spoke of her young daughter, Elizabeth. Not your average drug addict, she said. Adventurous, bubbly, outgoing, intelligent. She got a 32 on her ACT the first time she took it. Worrying about her and drugs was never an issue. She volunteered at any opportunity she had. Mississippi for Hurricane Katrina, joining mission groups in poor neighborhoods throughout the United States, learning to live as a homeless person as a part of that curriculum. She literally took the shoes off of her feet and gave them to a homeless person on one occasion. She got into Berea College for her stellar academics and attitude, studied her junior year abroad, but it was her senior year that her parents noticed a change.
And we just really didn't know what was wrong, other than that we knew something had changed, and never in my life would I have thought she was using drugs. To be honest, if I look back on her years, would I think she'd ever tried anything? And I think it would be naive of me to think that she got all the way to college and had never had an alcoholic beverage or never smoked a joint. I'm sure she probably had, but it was never an issue for us. It was never anything that we had to think, what's wrong with her, or that, she was always an A student. She was always on the dean's list. There just really wasn't anything that screamed out to us that, hey, there's a problem.
But home for the holidays, they would get her to admit that she had been using heroin. And that's when they encountered other issues. They immediately put her in the car, sought to get some treatment, made phone calls that were putting her basically on hold for a 24-hour period until somebody could get back with them. Finally finding somewhere they could take her, she was there for a 3-day program and then released on an outpatient status. Her parents concerned that using heroin and being released on an outpatient status was something that was to be considered a flaw in the system. She came out great, would later relapse, would get treatment for 90 days, would spend several months in a halfway establishment, ultimately made her way back to Berea College, staying on the dean's list throughout all of this. She was offered a full ride to the University of Miami on a graduate basis, a 5-year PhD program. And then coming home for the holidays and Christmas of 2014, she went to visit some friends. And one of those friends gave her some fentanyl, and they received a call at 2:12 in the morning that she was in the emergency room from an overdose.
She was 24 years old, and she left behind both of her parents and 3 siblings, to have to learn to live without her and try to make a new normal when there isn't really a normal any longer. And so I just basically want people to know that all of our kids are going to be offered drugs, all of them are. And that it really is, like Mr. Harvey said, just such an epidemic in our whole state. And when you see names of young people in the obituaries, no cause listed like an accident, you know that that person is a drug overdose. Probably 99 times out of 100, that is an overdose.
Holsing and her daughter Elizabeth were from Jessamine County, a little closer to home. Karen Sparks of Morgan County spoke of her son Jonathan. Her story is a bit different in the fact that at no point did she have any idea that her son was doing drugs whatsoever until they got a call that he was in the ER, that he had overdosed on heroin, the emergency room of the hospital where he would live out his final days, 20 of them celebrating his 21st birthday before passing away in the facility. Jonathan Sparks passed away at the age of 21 just 5 months ago.
We can either push forward with suffering, or we can curl up in a ball in a coma at home and close the windows, close the blinds, and don't let anybody in. But I feel like that I need to get out. I need to get out with you guys. I need to tell you that this story is real. And these kids are real. They're dying every day. I had no clue 5 months ago that I was going to be standing here. I didn't want to be standing here. Wish I could bring my boy back, but I can't. But if there's anything I can do to save one kid, I'll do it. I don't care where I have to go.
Sparks says her son, like Elizabeth, didn't fit the stereotype that most of us carry around. And that his story as well proves that It can happen to anyone, anywhere, anytime, rich, poor, or otherwise. He attended Christian school. He was a cancer survivor since the age of 4. Loved cooking, friended everyone, from the homeless to the well-to-do. A 21-year-old picture of health, she would later discover living in two worlds. Two women, says the U.S. Attorney General, like too many others, who are now using their personal experiences and tragedy to prevent others. He says this is a situation, this is a tragedy that we're not going to be able to arrest our way out of, and that the war, as he referred to earlier, must be won on the local level, and sadly it has to happen with stories like these.
I think the testimony that we heard today from these ladies is terribly important because it's a very human story. These are people who are just from salt of the earth families. They had great kids, great potential in these young people, and they lost them because these kids made admittedly poor decisions, messing around with opiates. But we can't afford to lose our young people to this problem. We just have to work harder and do more to win this fight.
I kind of stuck to a couple of messages. One of them was the presence and the dangers of heroin, but and it's not to take away from that, but acceptance and to not surrender was one that really stuck with me. You want to elaborate on that for me?
Well, I think, in our part of the world, we've had a prescription pill problem for so long, and now that's turning into a heroin problem, that we just can't accept that as normal. We can't just give up and decide that's how it is, because it doesn't have to be that way, and it can't be that way because these opiates are destroying families and they're destroying communities, and we have to get together and put a stop to it.
Harvey, Holsing, and Sparks all urged everyone as parents and caregivers, loved ones, friends, and acquaintances even, to look for the signs. Don't take, as maybe others have, things for granted. Question, investigate, and see if there is a reason for any strange actions or mood swings or anything of that nature. And if you need help, there's always some available on a local level. It's as simple as a phone call to Magoffin County Health Department through the Magoffin County Board for Kentucky ASAP, our SAFE Coalition, and other organizations and people are all waiting. I'll be right back after these messages. Magoffin County Fiscal Court met in regular session earlier this afternoon. I am just in with just enough time to bring you some partial coverage this evening, including that of a special resolution, the county court clerk's fees that were presented to the fiscal court, as well as an update on the 911 mapping process. A few of the items we'll cover tonight. Following payment of bills, there was a $25,000 fund transfer from the general fund to the jail fund. Magoffin County Court Clerk Renee Shepard presented access fees in the amount of $29,916 and some change for 2015, and a little more than $800 for the remainder of 2014 to the court. She also presented the court back with a $25,000 payment, a loan that they made during their last meeting to cover some unexpected expenses in her office. The 911 mapping process continues with approval of the map to now be sent to the state. Mike Wilson, Magoffin County Emergency Management Director, said that will allow them to move forward to the phone verification process, verifying phones with addresses throughout Magoffin County. A resolution also read in honor of the late Skip Salyer, Thomas R. Skip Salyer, former sheriff of Magoffin County, who still today holds the record as being the youngest sheriff elected in Kentucky.
Honoring Thomas Skip Salyer. This is the resolution. Whereas Thomas R. Skip Salyer, born June 7, 1949, Magoffin County, Kentucky, and whereas Skip Salyer and his wife Goldie were married on June the 25th, 1967, and made their home together in Magoffin County, along with their son Tommy. And whereas Skip began his career in the mining industry, working as a heavy equipment operator, being promoted all the way to superintendent, and running an entire mining operation at age 24. And whereas following in the footsteps of his father, former Magoffin County Sheriff Wiley J. Salyer, Skip was elected as Magoffin County Sheriff, serving in that capacity from 1978 to 1981. And whereas taking office at the age of 28, Skip was then the youngest sheriff to ever have been elected in the Commonwealth of Kentucky, a record that stands today. And whereas after exhausting his term limit as sheriff, Skip won the Republican nomination of McGoffin County Judge Executive on 2 different occasions. And where Skip continued to enjoy and stay involved in local politics, serving as party chairman of the Republican McGoffin County for several years in the 1980s. And wherefore, now therefore I, Charles E. Hardin Jr., M.D., McGoffin County Judge Executive, on behalf of McGoffin County Fiscal Court, do hereby sign and adopt this resolution honoring the legacy, life and legacy of former McGoffin County Sheriff Thomas R. Skip Sayer. And I make that in form of a resolution to be adopted into the fiscal court minutes.
Second.
Motion been made and second. Any discussion?
There were appointments made to the McGoffin County Library Board. There was also a woman who made a presentation briefly before the fiscal court with intentions, she said, on seeing that an animal shelter be established in McGoffin County. And there's some other items of business as well that we'll all cover at a later date beginning tomorrow. There is winter weather on the horizon, not so much in your Licking Valley RECC forecast because I'm going to cut it off just short of there because I want to focus on, what we're all looking forward to, and that's some mild conditions. Indeed, we've got them coming. 37 degrees and holding right now at the 6 o'clock hour. Also, I can tell you that we'll fall about another 10 degrees for nighttime lows tonight. We'll do so. Chances of sprinkles out there and patchy fog as well, moving in more so around 3 and 5 a.m. Otherwise, just cloudy with a light and variable wind. Tomorrow, we should warm back up to about 45 degrees on your Thursday. We'll start off with that patchy fog up to about 7 or 8. But we'll see the sunshine. Partly sunny skies are expected tomorrow. 45, like I said. Also that light and variable wind. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy skies. A low of 29 degrees. Light and variable wind. Will be coming south maybe around 6 miles per hour after midnight. So relatively calm and, close to average. Definitely above average, though, without a doubt and an argument. Will be Friday and Saturday and maybe even into your Sunday. Friday, 61 right now is still the expected daytime high. I hear no complaints. 61 and sunny. We'll also see breezy conditions. Now look for winds 6 to 11 miles per hour, maybe gusts as high as 24, 25 miles per hour out of the south on Friday. So warm and breezy and sunny. Haven't put those three together in a forecast in a sentence in quite some time. Now, that Friday night, you'll notice there's a 20% chance of some showers late Friday night. That's after midnight, maybe winding down maybe around Saturday morning, where we'll have about a 20% chance of some showers before 10. Partly sunny skies, still in the 60s as well. I think 60, 61 degrees expected Saturday with a low of 44. By Saturday night, though, we see a chance of some showers come back in, and I think clouds and showers roll in late Saturday night, and those will stick around into your Sunday. Temperatures are still going to be nice and close to 60 on Sunday, but I'm afraid we've got more clouds than sun. In fact, mostly cloudy skies and a pretty good shot, 50% chance of some rain and showers on your Sunday to wind out the weekend. But it won't be a cold rain like what we've just had, not near as cold anyway. We'll hold on to 50 degrees Monday to start off next week. We'll do so with some mostly cloudy skies as well. And then we've got some more wintry weather that will roll in next week after Monday, specifically closer to Wednesday and Thursday. That will be our next chance of maybe some white stuff flying around, and a very stern reminder that, indeed, it's still February and still winter, even though it's not going to feel as such Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Well, that's going to put a close on it for tonight. The McGoffin County Board of Education started their superintendent selection process last evening. I've got a report to follow. I'm on the road tomorrow, collecting several other governmental meetings which have been covered throughout the viewing area this week, and a host of other news that's got me pretty much covered throughout the rest of the week. So be sure you're here with us each and every weeknight. You never know what you missed if you aren't, but you will indeed miss something. For now, thank you for watching, and have a good night.